Hi and welcome to this week's project. This is the final project in the series that I've been doing with Jim Pennie from Cromarty woodturning.
Again, it's something a bit different, something I haven't seen before, but there's probably somebody out there doing it. I'll go through the whole process with you, but there's quite a lot of leaving stuff to dry, so needless to say we've got quite a few of these. Here's one I made earlier to produce over the course of the day. One thing I'd like to say at the beginning of this project, there are a number of the processes in this that do have or can have health issues. I'll talk about them when the time comes, but you really want to think carefully about some of these processes and where you're doing them, because they could have a detrimental effect on your lungs. But as I say, I'll talk about that when we come to these parts of that part of the process. So to begin with, this is a fairly substantial blank I'm playing with today, quite simply because I've got lots the same size. I'm trying to make them in different sizes at the moment to see which looks better, which ones work, which ones don't. So not only am I showing you the process, but I'm actually still developing a final product. So without any more ado, we shall get this in the lathe.
We are not the ones to blame. We were tired of playing games, no wonder. I know we had our ups and downs, always thought we got around stronger. But we were drifting more apart, and it's tearing up my heart in pieces. Cause what we had was long ago. All I know is how it slowly ceases. It ceases.
What I'm doing here is I want to make sure this is slightly domed. In fact, it's domed up the way I want it domed in the way. If I leave it and it's not at least flat or slightly domed down, when I put the lamp fittings on the top, they'll rock.
In the arms of a stranger.
And I'm going to turn it round and get into the bottom and hollow that out slightly, just so that over the years it sits completely flat on whatever surface it ends up sitting on.
A compelling pretender.
This is a piece for the next stage of the lamp. What we're about to do is we're about to start making lots and lots of little holes in this, which we're going to fill with coloured resin and eventually sand back, and we will get a lovely smooth finish. So these two lines here, they're just quite simply to demark the top and the bottom of where I'm going to make these holes. What I'm going to do now, this can come off the lathe, we're basically done with the turning part of it. I'm going to go outside, I'm going to set up for making the holes. Now, as you can see, all these holes are black inside. And this is quite simply because with the burr that I use, I deliberately put a bit of pressure on it to get this charring and burning inside there. Because when I'm finished, when I've filled all these holes with the coloured resin and I sand it all back, you get this you almost can't see it, but you can, this black line round the resin, the coloured resin that goes in there. It completely outlines it, it frames the resin that goes in. We'll try and get some shots of that when we end up with the finished item. But I think it really adds something to it. We're about to go and do this. We're going to generate a lot of smoke. There's about this space here, there's probably about 1250 to 1500 holes in it. As you can see, I've got a high-tech system of setting my Dremel up, a bit of rope hanging off the ceiling. I've got my fan. I'll show you the bit that I'm going to use. One unused and one used. These I purchased from my local DIY superstore, and I think they were £8 for the two of them, so they're not expensive to get. This one hasn't been used yet. This one has seen a bit of use, but it still works perfectly well. Yeah, they're good. I'm going to let this run for a couple of minutes. Dremel say you should always run the flexi drives for about 2 minutes before you use them. Neither did I. I've had one for about 5 years. I read the instructions just last week. I think it's possibly something to do with it loosens up the lubricants inside. I can't think, you know, it's the only thing I can think of. You can get from
We were walking on wire, like a moth to a fire, pulling closer to danger, in the arms of a stranger. I've been trying to figure out what we really were about together. Universes, empty promises for worse or better.
Oops. Hi, right, so we're not going to sit out there for 2 hours or whatever and complete that and bore you. This is one I've done earlier and it's ready to go onto the lathe and get its initial fill. They actually require to be filled twice because the holes, just because of the depth of the size of some of the holes, I find that when I'm applying the resin it drags, and as you go round it drags and it pulls the resin at the back of the hole away from the edge, and you end up with these little hollows, and no matter how careful I am I don't seem to be able to develop a technique that will allow me to do this quite simply in one pass of resin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it. I'm going to sand this down first to get all the little hairy bits that are left over from using the burr out, because I don't want them showing in the resin. I'm going to mix up some resin, I'm going to fill this, fill it up, and that's it for 24 hours. I don't know if you can pick up in this. This is one that's had one coat of the filler on, and when you look you can see all these little bits in here where it's quite simply been dragged out. Get it in the lathe. I'm going to sand this back down till all this excess resin comes off till I have a smooth surface again. Then I'm going to mix up some more resin with some of this flamingo pink in it, and I'm going to go over it again and try and get all these little holes filled up to or slightly above the surface of the wood.
The challenges of me and you, what's the point of trying to unravel? Oh, seemed like an easy rendezvous. Now I see I never knew you at all.
So once again, here's one that has been filled, rubbed down and filled for the second time, and we're now going to finish it. Take the masking tape off, and you can see there it does protect it a little bit. We'll get that off, we'll get this in lathe, we'll take this right down to the wood. We shall then sand it up through the grits to, I suspect, about 320, 400, might even go 600. Yorkshire grit. Then we shall spray some sanding sealer on it, let that dry, and then we'll polish it up with some friction polish and see what we've got at the end of that.
Wish that I could be a little clever, find the words to tell you how I'm feeling. Come along, let's take this walk together. We're together, tell me I'm not dreaming. Wait for me, just take a look around you. Can't you see, I'm happy that I found you. Through the rain, through the storm, and through the fire. Baby, please, my darling, won't you wait for me? Talk to me, let's have a conversation. Find the words to tell me how you're feeling. All I'm asking is have a little patience, little patience. I don't wanna be dreaming. Wait for me, just take a look around.
Now here we have, here's the finished lamp, and I'm hoping it's going to pick it up, but if you can, hopefully you can see that round each of these infills there is a very, very fine black line, and that's as a result of me cutting the holes too fast and actually burning and carbonizing the wood. This is what I was talking about earlier, and that's the finished lamp. I think it's come out quite nicely. I'm quite happy with the end result. It's a process. You could apply this process to any shape you want, any design you want. As you're probably all aware, the range of colours for dyes now is becoming more or less infinite. The world's your oyster. Go out, play, have fun, but just be aware of the potential impact on your health that some of the processes making these can have.
Very much, Jim. Another great video, and I hope everybody's enjoyed this. We shall get some pictures up, and I'll get some close-up pictures up so that you can see this black ring. And yeah, thank you very much for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Won't you wait